I'm Bob Cobb from the Bassmaster, and this is LD and the MC.
Well, as you just heard the legendary Bob Cobb say, welcome to LD
and the MC.
Number 5, Dave. We made it to 5. I feel like that is a very important episode for some reason. Monumental, even.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Number 5, we're still alive. I mean,
yes.
I'm glad. It took me.
Could we even say it's the Big
with
5?
My mic.
It's the Big 5 episode.
It is the Big 5 episode.
This is the Big 5, ladies and gentlemen. Right here, LD and the MC. Dave has been fighting a microphone basically like it's the Undertaker. I don't know what's going on with it, but we're going to jump right in to Mom's Basement, as we do every week. And this week, you got one you want to talk about, and I want to chime in as well, Dave.
MBM, Mom's Basement moment.
Yes.
And you know what? We don't want to bring this. This is supposed to be a fun kickoff to the show, but there's an absolute idiot. And I'm not even going to say his name, because I just met him. He's just a friend of mine.
Username.
Okay. Well, I don't even know what, but I'm not even giving that. I mean, this dude, number one, has been haunting you for Lord knows how long. I never even knew who the guy was, but since me and you started hanging out, you come with your skeletons in that closet, and he hates
some baggage. Yeah,
but he said a bunch of personal, horrible stuff, and I actually answered him. I said, you know what, dude, I'm better in the spoken word than the written word, and trust me, I am. Not that I'm that good in the spoken word, but I'm real bad in the written word. But I said, I'll answer all your stuff live next week. And then right away, he came in on me. He started making accusations about my friendship with Kevin Van Dam and stuff like that. Dude, you're an idiot, okay? Yeah. I'm not going to let you. People will say Luke's going to say whatever about you. Here's the bottom line. There's nothing wrong with hate. You know what I mean? Like, we get people who disagree, people who think your opinion is wrong, and that's cool. But if you're the kind of guy who jumps on and attacks every commenter on the board, that's not what this community is about. And bottom line, dude, none of your crap even got a like. Really, when you think about that, I mean, my wife likes every piece of crap I post anywhere. I mean, nobody in your family even likes your crap. So I don't like your crap, and I'm not going to let you ruin our crap with your crap. So for the first time, I'm actually going to ban somebody. I'm going to ban that idiot. And our Mom's Basement moment is, don't be an idiot on the internet. You just share your opinion. But this guy's obviously a troll. I mean, and that's an overused term. He's obviously somebody in the industry. I mean, it's quite clear, some of the comments he's made.
Somebody inappropriately did him wrong in the industry at some point. There's a lot of venom there.
Angry dude, and doesn't even have the balls to look into his very computer and say the things like he will get mad at you. Well, you know what? You really gave your opinion on this, but you should have given more of it. You should have yelled at them more. That's not what this show's about. Anyways, so my Mom's Basement moment is, don't be an idiot, and who cares?
You won't get banned. You won't get blocked. And his point on your page was that I had blocked several people. I can truly count on one hand the number of people I've ever blocked from commenting on anything on YouTube. And for me, it goes to, if it ever gets personal, like a real personal dig beyond the normal insult, like, you're gone. My kids read my stuff. Like, my kids watch my stuff. Like, it's the same on Facebook, like, or Instagram. Like, I'll block you. Like, if you say over the top, like, I'm here for debates. I'm here for, if you think this sucks, you know what? Okay. But when it goes to that personal, like, visceral venom level, where you, Dave Mercer, or me are living rent-free in somebody's head to the point that they got to say damaging, like, just like you said, you commented back, and then he's against you immediately. Like, man, maybe you should step back, remove yourself from the internet, and just maybe go fishing if you like to go fish. Just breathe a little bit, because at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. And I would also like to say, Dave and I can have friends that have different jobs than us, or different political views, or religions, or whatever. That's what makes this beautiful world go around. And you don't have to hate somebody because they belong to another organization, because then I'm just like, some of the people from certain organizations that I might not get along with, right? But truly, like, that's the point.
Of all weeks, dude, to bring it up. I mean, how many people listening to this right now are driving in a car to go to eat dinner somewhere with a family member that they disagree with their political views, their whatever views,
That's
their
right.
favorite football team. You don't get along with their kid. You don't get along with their wife. You don't get along with the husband. I mean, that's what Thanksgiving is all about for a lot of households. But you love that person. And you love everything about them, and you wouldn't let what you disagree with or what you don't like affect it. So, anyways, enough about this idiot.
Yeah.
Let's move on, and let's have our first MBM. You see how I made it a thing there?
I like it. T-shirt.
MBM. The MBM poll. Let's have it. Do you guys think it's cool to ban a dude like this that has started fights with most of you that comment? Or do you guys think it's better to leave somebody like that around to argue? And really, because when you think about it business-wise, Luke, banning him probably is not the smartest move. I mean, we're a dumb little podcast that's just trying to grow. The more comments you get on YouTube, the more triggers the algorithm. And trust me, when that dude comments, people comment back and it becomes an argument.
And we appreciate you people standing up for
very cool.
The show. We appreciate that. We saw that and appreciate it.
Yeah. So
and
let us know.
Happened on my comments. But I think that, let us know. Let us know. I think that, if you think you guys, anything should go, we believe in freedom of speech. Okay, let us know. We want to know. So comment below if you're watching this on YouTube. And Dave, I got to say, we got to get on past the basement. We got to climb the stairs. And the reason we're climbing is I feel like this sport is climbing because of this big announcement. And I've got to know, this turned into Luke interviewing Dave in this situation, but since I've talked to you last on LD and the MC, some big news from the fine folks at Bassmaster.
First of all,
on some Fox.
First of all, I have to apologize because we recorded LD and the MC like a few hours before that news came out.
Yeah, thanks.
I was sorry. But no, it's huge. I mean, really, when you think about it, let's just put it in. Number one, we're coming off a weird year with the COVID year. And I mean, thank God for all that amazing airtime on ESPN and live and unfathomable. But that was because of the situation we're in. To really look at what Fox is doing, I mean, it puts us on par with world sports. Like, 3 hours every Saturday and Sunday that there's an Elite Series event in the morning, from 8 till 11 on Saturday, 8 till 11 on Sunday, the hours outside of that and the hours during that, obviously also streamed on Bassmaster for those that are worried about that. It's amazing, man. It's a 3-hour block each day. I mean, that's what Formula One gets. And when you look, I mean, really, I know we love bass fishing and it is our Formula One. But if you look at the money and the worldwide presence that Formula One is, and you say to yourself, that's what the Bassmaster Elite Series gets, but they get it 2 days a week as opposed to 1 day a week. Unbelievable. I mean, it's unfathomable. I mean, dude, I told you when we first talked about it, when I first heard about it, when I first heard of the fact that the Bass was even talking to other networks and channels, I was like, oh, no, ESPN, because
that was my initial reaction. Yep.
But I also never fathomed that we'd be like, think of what happened in the last year. I mean, literally, if I sat down with you the last day of the Classic last year and I was like, Luke, tomorrow, I know it's busy here and everything's crazy, but tomorrow, this week, every league's going to shut down, everything. But Bass is going to be live on ESPN. And then by the end of the year, there's going to be 2 major networks vying for the Bassmaster Elite Series. It's unfathomable, unbelievable, and really freaking exciting. I mean, it's I don't know how all this crap is happening, but thank God it is.
I think it's and the timing it could not be better. We're wrapping up the opens, and we've got some changes coming. From the guys over at MLF, they released their roster. We see a big 5 angler gap in what's going on there. You got Jason Christie, Greg Hackney, Jacob Rosnick, Justin Atkins, and A1 Michael Iaconelli are noticeably gone from the list. And Dave, you said it earlier, we were talking, we're not here to make anybody's announcements for them on what's going to happen. Obviously, Christie wrapped the Central Points Championship. Greg Hackney, who started the event in 8th place, had a great tournament, finished 5th in the event at Louisville, jumped up to 2nd place. So these guys get berths into the Elite Series. One would assume, I think they said on Straightcast that was their goal. So one would assume they're coming back. So what a great time. You're getting some of these guys back that left. We've got a huge influx. We talked about it last week, of talent coming. And we're going to do a whole show, I have no doubt, you and I, about what the Elite Series will look like next year once all the confusion is over with, because we still got one open and there's going to be a lot of things play out, I feel like. But what was your initial reaction to those guys? And we've heard rumblings of it. But to them, first of all, those 5 not being on the roster, but Bass losing a big guy and John Cox going back. So what's your overall take?
Oh, the 5 that left, I'll be honest. I mean, that's the one thing I promised to be on this show. We both promised. I mean, we will be a lot of crap wrong. But the one thing we will be is honest to the best of our knowledge. And those 5 guys, I'll be honest. I mean, I kind of had heard that they're heading that direction. Cox blew me away, though. Like, when I first heard about it, you texted me and you're like, is John Cox really leaving the Elite Series? And I said, not that I've heard of. I mean, he had a great year. He's one of my favorite dudes to hang out with.
No, he's the best, man.
He really is.
He's the best.
And I texted him right away, and we corresponded back and forth. And I don't agree with his theory. I mean, his theory is he just wants to fish for 10. Like in his text, he said, it doesn't give me enough opportunities to fish for 10K. And I'm like, okay. And his theory is, I guess he's going to fish MLF and FLW, obviously, or the Big 5, sorry.
Pro circuit. Yeah.
So he's going to fish both. And his theory is that'll give him more shots at 10 grand. But I mean, dude, John Cox, in my opinion, this is big words from a tournament MC. That's a dude who shouldn't be fishing for 10 grand at this state in his career. I mean, there should be more zeros on the back of that. And there's so much more to be accomplished, I think. But then he's John Cox. He also flippantly said, I'll probably be back again sometime.
Sure.
And I'd love to say, you're going to have to make it back. But he's freaking John Cox. And really, that's kind of the world he lives in, where he probably could just make it back. You know what I mean? That's kind of the John Cox we've gone accustomed to. So I hate that he's leaving. I personally don't agree with his decision. You know what I mean? But it's also not my decision. It's his decision. Right. And I disagree with anybody that judges somebody. He's doing what he thinks is best for his family. And I wish him luck. And like I've said a bunch of times, I just hope they all end up where they're happy. And
no doubt.
I wish we could have made you happier, John.
Well, for me, and I said it on the podcast this week, the vision, the image of John lifting a classic trophy was just something I figured we were going to see sooner than later, right? Like him etched into the history as a Bassmaster Elite Series champion, as a classic champ, as an AOY, because he has done so much, obviously, on the FLW side of things, with winning tournaments, with winning the cup, so there's not a lot left over there to accomplish on the pro circuit side of things for him. So that to me would be the most natural, choice. But like you said, John doesn't do anything like anybody else. Did your light just go out?
My light just went out. See that?
Boyd.
I can't hold on.
Let me electrical grid in Toronto.
All right.
But I think that
just talk amongst yourselves.
Station identification. So for me, obviously, he marches to the beat of his own drum. He's going to go down in history as one of the greatest. If he quit right now, he's going to go down in history as one of the greatest to ever play the game, because he played it his way in an aluminum boat largely. And so I don't think this affects his legacy in any way, but those blue trophies sure are nice, and those Bassmaster Classics are even nicer and hard to come by. But when you're on the elites, you got a chance to be in the dance every year. And I think that's a really big deal. So I was disappointed to see him go because I want to see it from a fan standpoint, that storyline play out.
Yeah. Well, riddle me this, dude, because was he going to compete in the Classic? I didn't ask him. I mean,
that's
really?
right. He qualified, right?
He qualified for the Classic, and the first event of the year, MLF event, is on top of the Classic, right. Correct?
It is. There's an overlap.
We should try call him right now.
Jeez, a BPT conflict.
Let me see if I can call him on the phone. I don't know if he'll answer. Should we do this? I mean, we're totally unprofessional. I just picked up. Hold on. Let me.
Low Budget Live was always called. The slogan was professionally unprofessional.
Hold on.
But we just took it to the next level.
But I don't even know how to do this. Oh look.
Speakerphone it.
Can you hear it?
A little bit.
He's not even going to answer.
No, you're getting
Ever since he changed leagues, he's totally put me on do not even think about answering.
Your call has been forwarded.
Oh my gosh. Could have been a moment.
Oh, he's calling back. He's calling back. Hold on. Cox.
What's happening?
You are live on LD and the MC right now. I told you I'd give you a heads up, but I'm not.
He said, come on.
Wow. Thanks for the notice. That's awesome. I've been waiting for you guys to call me. I just haven't heard from you.
You're dead to us, John.
Hey, John, one quick question for you. And not to put you on the spot, but that's kind of our spot in the industry. Right. You're now competing in MLF, and dude, I told you in our text 100%. I love you. I'm gonna miss you, but I wish you nothing but luck. But you got a scheduling conflict ahead of you. What are you gonna do at the first event that conflicts with the Bassmaster Classic?
I'm gonna skip practice.
All right. So you can do them both?
I think so. Unless I completely scheduled it wrong, but I'm pretty sure I can. So the plan is I'll fish Smith Lake. I'll leave Smith Lake. I'll miss the Classic practice. I'll show up on Wednesday, get our whatever our 7 or 8 hour day or regular, like our dry run or whatever we do, and then I'll fish the Classic. I'll leave Sunday, shoot straight to Rayburn, and start Group B. Or however that thing works with the MLF, the second group.
All right. Well, I'm sorry for calling you live. We just wanted to answer to that. And I have one other question. How come I didn't love? How come did I not show you enough love for you to stick around with me?
No. I loved it. I love fishing bass, and unless something changed over the, we're still waiting. I'm waiting to see the schedule still. It would be crazy. Right now, the way they have it, we have 4 Bassmaster Elite, semi-locked in dates, I guess. And then we got 4 that we don't know about. And the 4 we know about don't conflict with any MLS. So, I don't know. I'm saying, I don't know.
The Iron Man of bass fishing.
So, we'll see. Once everything's released, kind of, everybody knows what the dates are now and stuff, so I don't know.
All right.
We'll see if Bass really loves me or not.
Well, we'll see if you really love Bass. But I do know I love you, and I'm going to try to be really professional right now, which requires me to hang up on you, but I will holler at you later, playa.
All right. Thanks,
bye.
See you guys. All right.
Incredible. Touchdown, Mercer. You're like Patty Mahomes pulling it out, buddy.
Always.
I love it. I love that, dude. I said
so. Is John Cox maybe fishing the Elite Series? What to say?
I think that maybe he just announced that on LD and the MC right there. You heard it here first, folks.
You thought he was out, but we pulled him back in.
I think it was you and I that did it. I think that
maybe we should have just called all those guys from the beginning. Let's start calling them all.
Yeah, call everybody. Yeah, give me Edwin Evers on the phone right now. Hey, Jamie, call Edwin. Yes. So I'm speechless, honestly, because I don't know what to do with that. That's rare for me. But dude, he is the Iron Man. He is. If he could fish 40 tournaments, he would. He just loves to bass fish, man.
Hey, dude, I'll tell you a cool story about him this year that explains John Cox 1,000%. And I hope he doesn't get mad at me, but Tripp was the one who told me this story. But Tripp calls him up to tell him he was the first one he called when we had to, if you think way back when we first postponed Chick. This is when it was being postponed for, the flooding. It wasn't COVID or anything. So it was postponed and everybody was concerned because if you remember, I mean, that was back with the season. It started. John Cox had won of the FLW events to kick the season off, and he was going to do all these tournaments. He was one time talking about flying in a helicopter from one event to the other to do it. I mean, it's the coolest crap ever. He truly is the Iron Man. But so Tripp calls him up, and he did call him first because he said that, I know what he's trying to do. I need to give him as much heads up as possible. And Cox's only answer, dude, as soon as Tripp's like, well, we're going to have to move the and Cox is like,
trip, by the way.
Cox is like, so that means I can fish the sanctuary if we go that other time. And I'm like, there's that off limits water that's shut down early in the year. And Tripp's like, was taken back because he thought like Cox would be everybody was like, John Cox is going to be so upset. And Tripp's like, yeah, I guess that does. And he's like, okay, cool, Tripp, thanks, click.
That's John.
He just thinks like an angler. He just, I mean, that's really
what makes him dangerous, dude.
It's what makes him dangerous, but it's also who he is, dude. That guy that we just called, that's the exact same conversation you always have with him. He's just a fisherman that wants to fish, and I wish him luck, but I or maybe I look forward to seeing him back on stage. We'll find out.
I don't think we got any more answers than other than he is going to fish the Classic. Yes. And it sounds like he already knows he's going to be in the Group B thing, and maybe, Boyd and them worked that out for him, I'm sure,
Yeah, how does he know he's going to be in Group B?
That's what I was thinking when he said that. How do you already know that? Controversy awaits after this LD and the MC. I mean, there's going to be some guy that goes, hey, I don't know what group I'm in yet.
Only on our silly little show can the man in question answer the questions, and yet we're more confused.
That's John. That's the beauty of John Cox right there. So I've got to I gotta ask you something outside of fishing to kind of end the week on. We're gonna bring it back to fishing, but you would text me talking about topics, and this is something that I feel like a lot of people, it's a little different Thanksgiving in the United States and Canada and abroad. You already had your Canadian Thanksgiving, right, Dave?
I actually did not.
Remember,
I was in South Carolina.
That's right.
I was at Santee. So, so I'm all excited because, generally we celebrate American Thanksgiving and Canadian Thanksgiving because we like turkey and football.
Lucky.
Yeah, totally. I mean, in a good year, we actually go down and celebrate it with some of our American friends. Yeah. But we're going to be at home, and it's going to be my first Thanksgiving for this year anyways. But yes, ours was about a month ago. Okay.
So ultimately, though, Thanksgiving, you got people, they got their family traditions in the States, especially go to the movies together. Like all these things normally happen. They go shopping. Well, I think all of that is probably off the table this year. So you're going to have a lot of people gathered around watching things. And we have the Mike Tyson, Roy Jones Jr. bout coming up. And for me, I have always been I think Tyson is absolutely incredible. I've read his books. I've seen about every interview he's ever done. In his prime, there's never been more of a stone cold killer. And I think the guy could have been like a tailback too, right? It's like LeBron James. People say LeBron James, like he could play soccer, he could play baseball. Like he's just this super athlete. And obviously Jones Jr.
Incredible. Incredible. They're two of the greatest boxers of all time, really.
Yes. This is an exhibition.
They're very old.
But they are old. And dude, Tyson's posting, he went on Rogan, he's in shape. He talked about your senses re-trigger, because he's a guy that he tried to subdue that, and he's talked publicly about keeping the beast at bay, kind of, and a lot of his urges and some of his old temperament. But he's talking about his back, like he's feeling it. But this is an exhibition. How does that go? Does he get in the ring and go Tyson? Like, what happens with this?
Well, number one, I mean, there's no way you can put those two dudes in a ring and make it an exhibition. I mean, how it initially was supposed to be, there is kind of a schmoozle going on here. Because, Jones, when he was first offered the fight, they said they were going to have it in 6 weeks. And he was like, man, 6 weeks? Are you kidding? I mean, Tyson hasn't fought in 15 years.
Yeah.
Like, Roy Jones Jr. fought 2 years ago. I mean, it hasn't been that long that he's been out of the ring. He was the heavyweight champion not too long ago. But his natural weight class is a lot less. But initially, he's like, yeah, I will take that deal because there's no way in 6 weeks Tyson can get. Let's be honest, Tyson hasn't fought in 15 years. And let's really look at what he's done the last 15 years. I mean, the last 4 or 5 have been pretty clean and easy in his marijuana ranch or whatever he's running in Nevada. Yes. Those are the clean years. But before that, I mean, he was literally, the Hangover. His character in The Hangover was not that different than what he was. But now that it's literally been 6-8 months now, and Tyson has had a long time to train. There's a lot of things that go in Tyson's favor. I think the fact that it's 2-minute rounds, that's huge. I mean, normally 3-minute rounds, and a lighter guy like Roy Jones Jr., that you figure, I mean, I don't know if anybody's ever done any sparring, whether it's just even for fitness. You get to minute 2, and that last 60 seconds is going to kill you, and that's when you're dangerous. That's when your hands start dropping a little bit. That's when you are open for those. So I think the 2-minute rounds definitely play for Tyson. And I think that the fact that if you look at the way they fought, Roy Jones Jr., the way he fought, what was always good about him, his best defense was his athleticism, in the way that you can tell I like pugilism, can you? I'm a little excited about this.
Yes.
But his best defense was always his athleticism, in the way that it wasn't his technique as much. I mean, he was but he overpowered everybody. Like, he had a lot wrong. But what he had right was the athleticism, the speed, and everything.
Yeah. As
you age, that goes, man. And the two things
just naturally goes away.
Yeah, and the two things that stay the longest, I mean, number one is technique. And Tyson, he's overshadowed with all that power because technically he was an incredible,
savage.
And you'll see that this weekend. So I really just think, I mean, it's all Tyson. It may be Roy Jones. If it goes, I think it's 8 rounds. If it goes to 4 rounds, I don't even see how he can point him. I mean, Mike Tyson will catch him at some point, or they will both be gassed after 60 seconds.
We'll see. No, I don't think so. Dude, they got too much pride on. You take guys like that were at the prime.
Do you remember Tyson's last fight, dude? That was 15 years ago, and he looked like a...
Oh, I know. But, dude, there was probably more terrible things running through his veins. Like, I mean, geez, come on, man. He went from, when he was Iron Mike, dude, I mean, that guy, as like a 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old was just like, his neck was this damn big, dude. That guy, but I'm saying, like, mentally, for those guys, I think there's no way they get in the ring, because they've been taking it serious. They've been working out, and there's no way, like you're saying, exhibition, when that bell rings, and they're also egomaniacs like everybody else, right? You get in front of the world, dude, I'm afraid what might happen. I mean, because Tyson's the most unpredictable character in sports history, I feel like, at times.
He's probably more predictable today than he ever has.
Oh, for sure. Totally different guy than he was 20 years ago.
If you've seen the pictures of him, God knows what he's got coursing through his veins right now. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming they're all clean and there's testing. I mean, I don't
Bang energy.
know.
Probably just straight Bang energy. Holler at us, Bang. Get your boys shit out here.
I mean, you gotta remember, we are talking about a 54-year-old and a 51-year-old. So
how much money for you to get in the ring with either one of them? With training.
Do you think that matters? Really? Oh, I trained. Good.
I don't know.
Good for you.
They give you a year.
Training
To train. A year training with a professional trainer. How much money to climb in the ring with a 54-year-old Mike Tyson?
I'd do it. I think. I mean, I've been hit by a lot of stuff. I mean,
Hell no.
I mean, I would hit the corner and I would cover up.
Listen,
I take a lot of body shots. Every shot would be $1 million.
Like if they needed a dude to go in there and like vacuum some dust up off the mat, I wouldn't even get in there for fear that he would see me and pummel me. That guy
You
is
just
terrifying.
ain't hungry enough, Duncan. You just ain't hungry enough. You need to be hungry.
Well,
I mean, I think I'd probably change my tune when I don't
looked
know.
at him.
Man, I just
bump
love
gloves
it.
with him.
Oh,
You're bumping gloves. You're like,
no,
sir,
you
the
imagine.
kids better be able to spend this money.
Imagine you just be like, I am an idiot. What?
So I've got to take. We were talking this via text, it got my wheels turning, and I want to end on this week. And y'all, and
So we're done with the Tyson thing. We can't talk
This is
boxing anymore.
the same.
Okay. Who are you picking, by the way?
vein.
You're Tyson.
I'm Tyson. Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I'm a Mike Tyson's punch out kid, man. I'm Tyson all the way. I've fought that guy so many times in my life. You kidding me?
Okay.
AAB, up, down.
All right. All right. Okay.
So I was thinking though.
I was trying to lure you in for a bet, but it didn't work.
No bets here. No bets here. Oh, that will come. Chiefs Titans at some point this year, sir. That will come.
Sure.
We will get there. King Henry will have something to say about that. So in this vein, this exhibition vein, we've had a lot of bass fishing greats that aren't with us in the sport anymore from the old days, different things. It got me thinking, if we could do like a cage match bass fishing tournament 1v1, as the kids say, event for pay-per-view for the tournament world for charity, who would we put mano a mano? Some guys that aren't, and I've got my guy. I got one guy that I was going to throw in there.
Who's your guy? You throw your guy.
Parker, bro. He quit too
Parker?
young. He quit too young. Wins 2 classics, and then he's like, grass needs mowing. Nah. He's done.
The cash needs making.
Exactly.
I'm gone working.
Yeah. He's like, I'm done forever. But I think he's quit too soon, because I'd like to see a guy like that, like his prime. He was the hat up on top of his head. Well, Ray, I just got that man spinnerbait going. But you would like to see that guy compete. I mean, dude, look at Klein. You
want him to compete. You want a cage match you want him to compete one-on-one against somebody else, or you want him to compete in a tournament?
Like no, I'm saying same format as Jones Jr. Tyson. We get a one-on-one, 2 retired guys from the sport of professional bass fishing against each other for one glorious event. 5-fish event.
I'm going Bill Dance. I'm going Parker versus Dance. Right. I mean, you can't go another direction, can you? Literally, I mean, in my head, I was like, who do I go? Bobby Murray? Do it? You know what I mean? I was thinking about all these things, but then as soon as I thought of Dance, I mean, there's no other option. I mean, especially if it's pay-per-view. I mean, we need to sell some stuff, and there is nobody better at selling than Bill Dance. I mean, he'll ram his shin into a freaking trailer hitch to sell a DVD. He will sell this cage match.
3 million views later.
Guest referee, celebrity guest referee.
He's the same as Hank, though, right? He quit early and took that TV. You know, that was his deal. That was his niche. He's America's favorite fisherman, right? So
how about Al Linder? How about we don't need to go throw Al Linder in there, because same deal. You know, left for TV. I mean, people forget Linder qualified for classics. You know, he had won some Bassmaster events. He was, you know, definitely a force and was building, but moved his way away for TV. So throw him in there. You know, you got a 3-way triple threat match, I guess we'd call it.
Throw one more in there and we do a team tournament. Just throw Roland in there. He's not too far removed from fishing tournaments. He was still fishing FLW not long ago, and some Toyotas and some Bassmaster Opens.
But see, now you go down a slippery slope. Now it's going to be like, well, you better bring Jimmy Houston if you don't bring him. Then you got a whole
Jimmy's not that far removed.
A battle royale?
Yes. I like the way you think, MC, and that's why we do this week in and week out, LD and the MC. You guys comment below. I feel like this is a fun one. So week of Thanksgiving, we go lighthearted. You guys comment below. If you're watching this on YouTube, tell us your dream retired Bass Pro match. I want to hear it. I've been thinking about that since we were texting about this. I'm like, yeah, I want to talk about that.
I want Dusty
Hank was
Pines
like the
versus
first
D.
name.
Thomas. Some like old.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah. I go deep with this stuff like you do. So there's lots of names from the past that I could throw in there from old school Bassmaster days, like, well, NFLW days. What do you think? George Cochran. Dude, like so many great names. But even Larry Nixon, like Larry didn't fish this year.
He'll be back.
He'll be back. Larry's obsessed.
Larry doesn't stop. I mean,
he's coming back.
And you got to think that Rick Clunn has jacked with everybody's brain, right? Because Larry's back there, post surgery, thinking that Clunn is, I mean,
Clunn leading Bass Fest. He's like, Ricky.
Speaking of Clunn, dude, like that. I mean, it fizzled out after day one, but that last event there on Fork,
awesome.
and there's something special, man. When and I said it to him on stage, but I really don't think he understands because and even if he was off the water and could understand, he's a better human than I. He wouldn't even notice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But the excitement that goes around the industry when Rick Clunn's catching them, and not just Rick, but the anglers, like you should have seen the amount of anglers just jacked that the fact that Rick Clunn's catching them. And dude, I mean, that dude has weighed, if you look at big bags, like monster sacks, and you look over the last 5 years, you'd be hard pressed to find a guy in the elites, and I know we've had a lot of anglers change, but I don't care. Even the anglers that have left, tell me who's weighed more big giant bags in the last, 4 to 5 years. I mean, he's figured out how to catch, and he talks about it. He's like, man, I totally changed everything I do and I'm focused on this, but I mean, at his age, it's amazing. Like when you think about it, he's doing stuff that doesn't happen in any sport. I mean, to still compete, Rick Clunn is awesome. Really is.
Will always be awesome too. That guy is like legendary. And I love that Zona says that he is starting to like me or something. I saw Zona. Rick made a post this weekend, and Zona was on the first comment and says, "I like you, Rick." And guys like yourself, Zona, we're a lot for a guy like Clunn, right? Like Clunn is very to himself. We are in your face. We're talking. Rick he's not really our personality type, right? I think that's fair to say. But he is a very gracious man and a very kind man to have a conversation with. I've been fortunate to have several over the years with him and pick his brain. But I just thought it was funny. Zone is like Uncle Rick, during the live coverage, old Uncle Rick. And I'm like, I wonder if that's reciprocal.
He is and Rick has fun with that now.
He does,
dude. He does have fun with the whole messing with guys But dude, that he's a special man. I mean, I've told you a story. I'll tell it real quick here. I mean, the day that, so many times since then, I've realized Rick Clunn is amazing. But I'll tell you, the amazing thing about Rick Clunn blew me away on Falcon Lake. When he could have won that tournament. So we're in the middle of a dust storm, and the only people in the trailer was the 10 anglers, myself, Trip, and maybe a couple other tournament officials, right? And the anglers are coming. I mean, it's a dust storm. This isn't something we've got precedent for. Here's what we're going to do. So think about it. Tournament anglers, really put yourself in this situation. There's 10 anglers left in this tournament. There's a dust storm. There's only one guy who can get to his fish. Everybody else is running. Rick Clunn's fish are like right there, and he can win this tournament. And as a tournament angler, I got to be honest, I've made a lot of decisions, rule decisions over the years. I like to think I'm non-biased, but really think about it. You think about things as a tournament angler, you're like, oh, you want to start later? If you have a late bite, you'll be all for it. But if you have an early bite, you're like, I got to go right now. Rick Clunn walked into that trailer without hearing what anybody else had to say and said, guys, I just want to let you know I'm the only person in this trailer that could make it to my fish today. Most likely it would be a lot easier for me to win this tournament if we go ahead today. But the wrong call to make is to run this tournament today because I don't want to win a tournament against a group of anglers that are handicapped. And I was like, man, that dude is mega classy. And I mean, he got repaid real great. I mean, the locals raped and pillaged his fish while we had our day off. And Keith Combs won the tournament, and not to take anything away from Combs, but I mean, in that trailer that day, I just realized, I mean, Rick Clunn, I grew up looking at him, idolizing him, and looking up at this guy that held a trophy, and nothing he's ever done in the water impressed me more than what I've seen personally with him. And
awesome,
that was just the first of so many of those kinds of experiences. So Rick Clunn's awesome. And it's Thanksgiving. What are you thankful for? I'm thankful for Rick frickin' Clunn.
Amen. I'm thankful for my podcast, LD and the MC, our podcast, where I get to hear those juicy stories, man, because that is for a kid growing up, idolizing these guys. Those inside stories are what makes what you and I do so special, man. Getting guys on to tell these stories. You and I sharing the stories that we encounter in this crazy bass fishing world, man. I'm very thankful for that. And we are thankful for each and every one of you that tune in. Last week, episode 4, you guys showed up and showed out, to say the least. But make sure you're subscribed to the Facts of Fishing YouTube channel and Luke Duncan's Traveling Circus if you like what we're doing. You can also find this on iTunes. I'm still getting some comments on that. Guys are like, hey, I wish I could listen on an audio platform. Well, you can. It's everywhere. iTunes, Spotify. Dave even yelled at Alexa and she pulled it up there on Amazon, correct, Dave? You can do that?
Yeah, pick it up on just tell Alexa to play it, and she starts playing it. It's cool. You can get it everywhere, and I know all these, everything you watch on YouTube and everywhere they tell you to subscribe and stuff like that, and give them ratings and stuff. I mean, that's just something they say, but we really freaking need it. Okay, we're brand freaking new, and my kids are making fun of me. We need more plays. Help us out, okay?
Same at the Duncan house, Dave. Same at the Duncan house. Like and subscribe. My kids hear me say that, and they're like, Dad, please stop. We will see you guys next week for some more LD
and the MC.
See you. Cowbell.
Cowbell's weak today. It's not very good.
Damn it.
Cowbell broke.